Hey guys, I'm out in the garden today and I'm taking in, while I sit here and just look at everything, all the feedback, and I can't appreciate you guys enough for all the awesome feedback from my 5 top failures in my garden planning this year. There were some really disheartening results from my spring planting. And I'm sitting here and I'm trying to absorb everything that everyone said. And it seems like, wow, that's a lot. And some of it I'm having a hard time making sense of because other things are doing really well. So I'm trying to process but yeah, okay, well, why are these things doing good and not those things? And I guess it's me learning the different growing environments for all the different varieties of, vegetables. And not everything can grow in the same and equal type of environment. That being said, I honestly still don't know what I'm going to do differently. I got great feedback from Luke and my gardener on my spinach bed. Guys, he said it's not blight. It's 100% guaranteed residual herbicide damage. And I'm like, but where did it come from? I buy only organic hay from a very trusted organic farmer down the road. All the straw I buy, I make sure to ask, do they spray? If they spray, I don't buy from them. I buy from people that say that they don't spray. So that is a trust thing, I guess. And then I look around me and I am surrounded by farmers' fields. So is wind blowing stuff over or birds dropping things in my beds? I only feed the animals, like my chickens and my goats, organic feed. So when I use my own compost, it's hard to believe there's any herbicides in my own compost. But I don't know. I mean, too, if you guys know how to test for herbicides, residual herbicides in your garden, let me know. I'm sure that I could take a soil sample to the county extension office and maybe they could do it. So I think I might do that just to 100% verify what's going on. But while I'm out here, before I get going on any repairing of situations, because I do have a flat of tomatoes sitting next to me, I want to show you guys the good in the garden right now. So we're going to go check that stuff out, and I'm happy with, I'd say 50% of the garden I'm happy with. But I did have some significant losses. So let's go see the good. Okay, so first is my potatoes. My potatoes are growing really well. Same straw, same mulch, same method as everything else I'm growing in. I've even got the beginnings of flowers. Some flowers are opened already. So potatoes are going to be great. I'm not worried about that crop at all. If you watch any of my Ruth Stout potato planting videos, I don't need a big harvest. I prefer to get, I'd say 30 pounds of potatoes. And then I chop them up and store them for potatoes O'Brien, things like that, and put them in my freezer. So potatoes, going great. Okay, and these 2 beds, this bed and the bed behind it, are both carrots and onions. Both are doing awesome. Of course, you guys know I love my carrot harvest. I do have some sorrel returning from last year. I think it can act like a perennial, so I just left it. Now in that bed, I do have nasturtiums growing with the carrots. And I would say in the front bed, the carrot germination was a bit off compared to this bed. This bed, I'd say it was at least 90% germination. So carrots and onions in these 2 beds are doing great. Okay, this is my most favorite onion bed. Some of these onions, guys, are huge already. I have broccoli rabe growing. Is that how you say it? Broccoli rabe? Rob? Growing in both of the corners, and they're getting tiny little heads on them already. Again, same exact straw that I'm using everywhere. And I have nasturtiums in the corners up front. But some of these onions, the necks are already like that big around, so I know I need to start the little spooning technique around them. I think, guys, this year I'm actually going to have a great onion harvest. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Everything's looking great. Oh, and I do have a question. Should I cut these tops off one more time? You know, they came as slips with the tops already cut off, and I haven't cut them again. And I think I've heard that maybe to get bigger bulbs, you should trim the tops. So if I should, let me know. You guys see me? Yep. So this is my lettuce bed. Everything, I think somebody in my bad planning video said, oh, your lime green bed, you're missing potassium. This is just really brightly colored lettuce. So the lettuce, I've already been harvesting some. I have a mixed salad green. This is pink chard, endive. Those are kohlrabies, more mixed lettuce greens, kale. My Mizuna lettuce has already gone to seed, and I didn't even get to harvest any because I was so busy. The cilantro's bolted. On this side I have 3 zucchinis that I just planted after I had harvested all my radishes. That's turnips down there, more salad on the other end with some cucumbers. Again, same exact technique as everywhere else, and this bed's doing great. Now my yellow Swiss chard isn't doing all that great. It's tiny, and it didn't germinate very well. So I'm not sure what's up with that one. But I've decided after I tasted it, I don't really like it, so it's okay. Okay, in this bed I have peppers, which look like they're missing some kind of nutrient because the leaves are yellowing a little bit. So give me a tip there. I'm not quite sure. I know I should take care of my peppers. I'm just not quite sure what to do with them yet. And then this was where I was going to plant, guys, those garbanzo beans. But because I lost those and I had a terrible pea germination issue going on, I planted bush peas here. So this is all bush peas, and they came up wonderfully. So I'm excited for that harvest. Again, same exact technique with the mulching and everything else in my raised beds. Don't know, I can't figure it. Now let's get super excited about strawberries. Oh my gosh, who doesn't love strawberries? My strawberry harvest last year, amazing. I probably put up, oh, I don't know, 4 or 5 gallons in the freezer of strawberries. We juiced strawberries at the end of the season. So I think this year looks even better than last year. I've actually got one almost ready to harvest. They're just turning red. This bed is loaded, and I have a whole nother bed in the front. So strawberries are doing great. Now this bed doesn't get mulched. It only gets amended with some all-purpose fertilizer in the spring. Aren't they so pretty? Purple cabbages. I've never grown cabbages, and I don't know, honestly, because I've never grown them. I don't know if they look right or look good, but of course it's a hot day, so they're a little wilty, but they are just beautiful. And these were grown as starts. I bought, I guess, probably early April, and put out here, dug a hole in the Ruth Stout beds and planted them down in the soil, and they're doing great. Now, next to them I have broccoli, Brussels sprouts, more broccoli, and more cabbage. I will show you down there, I think, some of the issues with the overwatering, but let's go take a look at those. I'll still get a decent harvest, I think, with the ones that are towards the back of the bed. So I think you guys can see how from the front of the bed to the back of the bed, the difference in growth. Again, this is broccoli, so the back broccolis look a lot better than the front broccolis. I don't know which one's getting more water than another, but something's going on because they're all in the same environment, the same mulch. So that's kind of interesting. Same thing here with my Brussels sprouts. The ones at the back doing much better than the ones in the front. Very weird, not quite sure what's going on, but the ones in the back look great. Broccoli, exact same situation. The ones in the front are doing very poorly while the ones in the back are doing great. I have volunteer potatoes coming up because this was my potato bed last year. I'm just going to leave them. Same thing with my cabbages. Ones at the back are doing great. Ones towards the front, not so much. Okay, so this is just a really fun little garden space. I have my sugar snap peas growing here, lots of poppies. This is beautiful lettuce that grew from seed. I'm not quite sure what this is. I planted a whole bunch of just different wildflowers and stuff in here and just scattered them. But this bed's gonna be really fun when it comes in bloom. And I can't believe this volunteer lettuce. Let me pull a leaf and show you. Look at that, it's just beautiful. And this did get mulched with the exact same mulch that I'm using everywhere else. Bizarre, I don't know. Because of all of my failures with seed germination, I planted way too many cucumbers in this small space. So today I'm gonna be pulling out a lot of these that are yellowing and not doing so well, leave the good ones and transplant some somewhere else. But cucumbers are doing really well here. So you can see why some of it's I'm having a hard time really understanding. So what am I gonna do? Like I said, for the tomatoes, for the tomatoes that didn't come up well or I'm not gonna have enough time, a lot of people were talking about in my last video comments, well, there's a spider on my lens. A lot of people were talking about that I needed to pull the straw away. Tomato roots will need aeration. So I will do that. I'm not going to completely remove it. I'll pull it back, plant my tomatoes. I'll probably take the small ones out that are in there and I'm going to pot them up on the kitchen porch. So I can just watch them and see if they're actually going to have time to mature. Green beans, what am I going to do? I think I'm going to leave the straw where it is as is, and I'm going to top dress it with a very deep layer of compost and soil mixture. And that way it's acting more like a core garden, and replant my green beans. Guys, I should have got those when I was at the store today. I completely meant to and I forgot. Peas, I don't have a chance recovering right now. We're headed into the hot part of summer, so I'm gonna just have to wait for fall. But I'll do the same thing. I'm just gonna top dress the soil with my, or top dress the straw with my soil mixture. And everything else, I think I'm just gonna watch and wait and make sure it just continues to do okay. I don't want to give up on roof stout gardening yet. Because we can have drought-like conditions in the summer here in Michigan, I want to have the best opportunity to retain as much moisture as I can. Some things I've considered is just taking all my roof stout beds as they are and turning them into more like a lasagna type bed. If you don't know what that is, take time to research it because I would have to research it again to share it with you. But basically it's layers of almost building like a natural compost pile that you would grow in. So I may do that. But I'm gonna watch and wait and kind of see how much energy I have in the fall. My intent with my gardening style, I'm not an expert gardener at all. I'm still learning what works for me, is I want to find the easiest method of gardening. Lowest input, highest yield. So right now that's not happening for everything. If you guys saw my carrot video last year, if you didn't, I'm gonna link it up here. I can get some pretty huge yields out of my garden when stuff works. Right now it's mostly been luck, but I'm going to work at that method. I want super high yields, lowest input. So being able to retain the moisture that I need without having to remember to water, being able to directly plant without having to weed and prep beds, those kind of things. Anyway, so a lot of good things are happening in the garden, and that does make me happy and allows me to continue to say not all is lost. Some things are working. Now I just have to figure out and learn why the things that didn't work. So thanks guys for watching. I got to get to planting these tomatoes now. Bye guys.